Welcome to EU Tweets of the Week. This week, it's real trade war now. European Development Days take a bow. And Europe unites to save Penka the Cow. As Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker said, the 31st of May was a bad day for world trade as the US hit the EU, Canada and Mexico with trade tariffs. Verhofstadt agreed with Commissioner Malmstrom, saying the tariffs are pure protectionism and illegal under WTO rules. German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas added the only response to America first must be Europe united. The Daily Mash, however, had other ideas, suggesting the EU imposed tariffs on fat American golf twats. Who could they be talking about? Weirdly, Nigel Farage came out in support of the Trump tariffs because, said Otto English, he's a patriot in the same way that a heated fan oven is a reliable place to keep your ice cream. Mike Galsworthy pointed out that back in 2003, when George W. Bush tried the same thing, the EU rode to the rescue. Dmitry Grozubinski begged, please swipe right to WTO. I just want someone to hold me and tell me my regulations are non-discriminatory. Anna Isaac thinks the tariff lists are starting to sound like beat poems, and fashion icon Burly Monster said, we don't need your American jeans, we have European jeans. This year's European Development Days kicked off in Brussels on Tuesday with the hashtag #SheIsWe to highlight this year's theme, women's empowerment. Some startling statistics came out. In 37 countries, rapists are exempt from prosecution if they marry their victim. Only 2% of all overseas development aid is spent on gender equality, and 246 million school children experience gender-based violence every year. Norwegian PM Erna Solberg said discrimination against women and girls belongs in the garbage heap of history along with racism and slavery. And Rwandan President Paul Kagame added that it is up to leaders at every level to ensure that there's accountability for changing harmful societal norms. And a cartoon competition illustrated very neatly where we're at with gender equality. Finally, the most pressing news of the week, Penka the Cow. Hashtag save Penka, hashtag pray for Penka. A pregnant runaway cow from Bulgaria was condemned to death by officials after illegally roaming across the border into Serbia. Fortunately, Telegraph hacks James Crisp and James Rothwell were immediately on the case and started a petition. That cow is pregnant, said Crisp. I am taking the EU out of the bubble and down to the level of real people with real problems. And boom, the petition reached 10,000 signatures. Presumably all very real people with very real problems, taking it all very seriously and not having a laugh at all. Some people, however, did take it very seriously. Roland Oliphant said Penka's story goes to the heart of the EU project, its future and life in its neglected hinterlands. Conservative MEP John Flack said Penka the Cow has demonstrated that the EU often lacks common sense and compassion. Richard Wellings agrees the plight of Penka is a perfect example of how laws drawn up by bureaucrats in Brussels can hurt ordinary people and cows. Amélie Leconte pleaded, stop talking about the EU cow. I refuse to be made to care about the EU cow. Enough is enough with the EU cow. Rest easy, Marie. The Bulgarian Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Forestry says Penka the cow is safe and on her way back home. Through quarantine. This week, we are supported by Wind Europe. Find out more about their Clean Energy EU campaign to go for 35% by following them on Twitter. And that's it for this week. Join me again next week for more moves, views and news in the Brussels bubble Twitter sphere.